All right. People are starting to log in. We're just gonna wait for a few more minutes to wait for the rest of the attendees to log in. All right. Today's episode we'll be talking about the localization, creating a local tech ecosystem within the university and government. So again, moving ahead, if you have any questions regarding our webinar or podcast and any other content that we have, please do drop your questions in our comment section there. You can also ask your questions in the Q&A panel. You may also, for more content, to learn more about what we do, you may also visit our website. It's bikal.co.uk. That is bikal.co.uk. You may also follow us in our LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. You can just search there, Bikal Tech UK. All right. 3 more minutes before we start this episode. All right. By the way, this episode is made possible because of the joint collaboration between speakers and also the content that we did previously. And also, of course, because of Bikal Tech UK. And if you want to know more about, like I said earlier, what we do, you may visit bikal.co.uk. And if you have any suggestions on the topics that you want us to cover in the next episodes, you may also drop your suggestions in our comment section, or you may also contact us in our channels, social channels. All right, I think we can start now. Oh, no, no, no. Let's just give them another minute. All right, I think we can start now. So again, welcome to today's episode. We're going to be talking about creating a local tech ecosystem within the university and the government. And today's episode, I'll be joined by our operation head in Bicotech UK. He's also a boxing enthusiast and also a mentor of many young entrepreneurs, both in UK and UAE. And welcome, Mr. Jas Dahil.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much, Mark, for that kind introduction. I wouldn't say too many children or too many younger people that I do look after, but there's certainly a few, both in the boxing world, the entrepreneurship world, and just university mentorship. Yes, so my name is Jas Dahil. I'm the head of operations at Bikal Tech UK and also at AHB.ai. So, you know, this is something that's really quite close to me as such, because obviously I've spent many years teaching younger people boxing and such, and then translating that to some of the work I do with universities and mentoring some of the students at universities. And then now, I pass my experience on to young entrepreneurs. So I'm pretty lucky in the fact that I've had quite a good, fulfilling last 2 decades as such.
All right. So today's episode will be like focusing first in localization and what we do as a company, right? And also what's the effect of localization in our society, and then what or why does the university and the government needs to collaborate to make this happen? So first things first, for those who hasn't or doesn't know what localization is, can you help me with the
Well,
yeah.
no, I think Mark, that's a pretty interesting question because you could take it in a lot of ways. So it
Mm,
could be local people working within a community, within a city, uh,
mm,
keeping that local talent within the city. So it just really varies on what what where you want to put localization. So localization is as what it is,
mm,
basically local, keeping things to where the place of their origin. So
mm,
like I'm from Coventry, as such in the UK. So anything local to me would be Coventry, maybe a bit of the Warwickshire region, but it's local within our city's boundaries as
mm,
such as what that is. So this varies across the board. So like AHB is based in Sharjah, so that would be the people in Sharjah, or the local talent, or the local people within the Sharjah region. So just keeping things in
yeah.
that specific region.
So regardless of the, let's say, the activity, for example, in marketing, there's this localization campaign that we do, right, as a
Yeah.
company, and also we like to partners with the local institutions as well. So that's one of the, let's say, form of localization, right?
Yeah, no, correct. I think when we look at something like AHB and people forget,
Mm,
we have a data center built in Sharjah. That's the
mm,
world's 26th in the world, first in that particular region. And
yeah.
luckily enough for us, we've got to be thankful that Sharjah said, yeah, place it in Sharjah. So how will that benefit the people of Sharjah? Because what we want to do is create the wealth
Mm,
using the data center and our HPC to keep the local talent within Sharjah. I mean, that's
yeah.
the ultimate aim of our understanding of localization. So, likewise, when I'm in Coventry, would do I want to see people uh, grow and nurtured and kept? But I want to keep that local talent within the Coventry region, be it in boxing or whatever
Yeah.
industry that we might have in Coventry. So it's about keeping what we feel can help generate wealth, help generate better communities,
Mm,
and provide a more fruitful society that we want to live in with our own within our own city.
yeah. Like
So
actually that
yes, I
makes
mean
sense. Yeah.
yeah, I mean you've got some slides that we can go through
Yeah.
at the moment that some of the work that we've been doing and how we put this together.
All right. So let's go over to the next slides actually. So first, so yeah, what are your thoughts about this? The impact of COVID on localization.
Well, see, obviously, COVID was a pretty terrible time for everybody. I think be it
Mm,
in the UK or whatever part of the world you were in. You know, I look at it as in people during the lockdowns had to stay at home. You had a large amount of industry where I'm from in Coventry doing manufacturing jobs. They had to stay at home. These are people that were used to stay at home. But what it did do, it was people that have the ability to work online, the online growing and having Teams calls online and so forth, work continued for them. So that was the advantage that they actually gained during the pandemic, sorry. So yes, a year and a bit of real hardship and pain for everybody, but certain people did develop different skills.
mm,
You know, there was a chance for people to self learn themselves new skills, and then be able to say, right, can I work from home more productively than me going into
mm,
the office? So a lot of the work was done agile, and
yeah.
that's something that has helped us out as a company because a lot of our developers are obviously overseas in Uzbekistan. We have some in Sharjah, India, and so forth. We know that yes, at certain
Mm,
times of the period, yes, these guys can be agile enough to be online and help still continue giving that great input and productivity that we need as a company. So this is really stemmed from a lot, unfortunately stemmed from COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, so those that were able to adapt probably gained a lot more advantage. Yeah, when
Yeah.
everything
Exactly.
else was really set aside.
Yeah. It's pretty much evident, especially in today's let's say industry, right? Like, for example, AI, right? A person doesn't need to be in the office just to be able to convey or to keep developing a product, or a person can always collaborate with someone away from his, let's say, native region because
You
of
know, no, you Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I've been in coffee shops where I've spotted younger people, 30s, 35s,
Mm,
younger than me anyway. So, with their laptops open, most of them conversing online, most of them coding away as such. You don't have to actually always go in the office. Yes, there's an element of it, can it become a bit of a hybrid model where you might go in the office
mm,
sometimes, or just to have
yeah,
that face-to-face interaction with your fellow colleagues. But
yeah,
watching these guys with their earphones on, coding away, and you think, wow, he could be talking to somebody or programming something, someone from the States. So time difference doesn't really make
mm,
that much of a difference. So that that ability to be agile and be able to work from anywhere has really helped to move this forward,
yeah.
you see.
Yeah, exactly. Especially during, yeah, like it was mentioned, like during the COVID times, right? People doesn't have to go to the, let's say, crowded places, or like I said, before the trend of work from home,
Mm.
for a product to be continuously developed, a team needs to be there, like most of the time, right? But in today, as long as there's internet, then
Yeah, no,
there's no problem. Yeah,
as long as you have like you said, as long as you have great connectivity,
yeah,
you can practically work anywhere in this industry as such. Um, the other question, obviously, is there's a lot of empty offices, some so, but that's a different
yeah,
story. So so having the ability to work anywhere, it gives you a chance to have that little bit of flexibility. Some people like working from home.
yeah,
The school runs and so forth. It makes their life less stressful. Their own mental well-being is a lot more calmer as such. So it
yeah,
does have its advantages as well. But as long as that
yeah.
productivity is still good, and
Mhm.
then I can only see it as a great plus point. I mean, even during
Yeah,
COVID, I ran a lot of boxing sessions because I have obviously run a
yeah,
charity boxing club in Coventry, and I was lucky enough to do a lot of my sessions online. So I knew the kids have got great access to Wi-Fi.
yeah,
They'll have their phones out, they'll have their laptops out. I could do virtual boxing classes. They didn't have to actually be there. Okay, there wasn't a boxing bag to hit, but there were certain drills we could do. We could do
yeah,
exercise, but it kept that same engagement, and it's that engagement that was important at that time.
yeah. That keeps the mind or focused, right? So yeah, it's still a big impact. There's still a big impact. So to sum it up, before we move to the other slide, it's basically the impact basically the advantages here now
Mm.
outweighs the disadvantages, right?
Yeah, yes and no.
Yeah,
I mean, there's still. I mean, I believe yes. That you need a
yeah,
little bit of a hybrid model. You don't want to be secluded and sitting in your room all the time. You need that little
mm,
bit of face to face. There are certain advantages to it. Obviously,
mm,
it helps like I mentioned, the well being of the person. It may make their life a little easier. Um, but you also need to talk to colleagues, face to face. Sometimes
yeah,
online can be one way, but really sometimes that human interaction is good as well. So, yeah, it, but the the advantage of being able to know that in this now new age of AI or
mm,
suppose or how we build the next tech industries as we move along,
mm,
you can work from anywhere.
yeah. All
Yeah,
right. So we can go to the next slide.
yeah,
All right. How about this? What are your thoughts on the anchor institutions and in sourcing?
yeah. Well, I've always been a firm believer because I do, as I said, I've got the boxing, and I also
Mm.
do manage to talk to a lot of uh, year six, seven, not six, seven, up to about year 12 students, which would
Mm.
be in your sort of 16, 17 region from about 11 onwards. And we talk about, what kind of jobs that people want in the future, what will be the
Mm.
jobs in the future, and how can we keep, a lot of people want to work abroad or they want to work here or there. But we always felt that, if we could make your own city and keep that talent pool within that region, then maybe we can look to developing a real great society and or even a community of really high tech developed developers as such. So to me, the role of universities is paramount in that development. Okay, because you've got them as an anchoring institution. So every city, be it UK, UAE, where you're in, I mean, what do we have? We have University of Sharjah there. We have a few of the University of America and such based around our eco park. But what that does, it allows the local people to visit these institutions or study at these institutions. Now, ideally, you'd like to keep these students within that region, so you don't want that talent to be then sent to another country, leading to
Mm.
brain drain or even another part of the city or head towards Dubai. I speak to a lot of people in places like Malaysia and such. A lot
Mm.
of the developers want to go to Singapore, you know.
Yeah.
But how can Malaysia keep that talent pool there? And it's the same for where I'm from in Coventry. We would like to keep all the talented people as much as possible within there and build these jobs where we know that the university has great innovation and labs and
Mm.
search that can help foster that kind of development and creativity, but keep it retaining that local talent. So kids that go
Yeah.
Coventry University stay within Coventry. And that
Yeah.
requires the universities and local government to say, right, what can we do together? Can we, how do we keep this talent local? Can the local authority and council work together to develop more innovation hubs? Okay.
Mm.
How do we want to work? How do we develop it on a school level? So, kids have got something to aspire to. So these are the sort of
Yeah.
questions where universities and local government have got to work together and say, right, let's keep it together. What kind of city do we want to make? What kind of communities do we want?
Yeah, actually, that's one of the questions that I've heard from the events we attended in the previous months, especially in some AI themed events. Like, how
Right.
can they, let's say, spark the drive from the universities and government? Because the resources, like you said, there's the talent already, but
Yeah.
to harness it is the problem. Like, how do we harness it? Because apparently some of the, let's say, curriculums in the schools aren't really adaptable to the AI, right?
No, well, you see, now you're going a bit of a controversial question there, Mark. You'll have to look at whole schooling for that. So, no, the way I see it is
Mm.
personally, as I say, there's a level of, I think, not understanding. I think if you're driven enough and you want to learn
Mm.
something, now if I wanted to learn coding, which I don't at my age, I could go on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's got to be
Mm.
videos that will teach you basic
Mm.
coding, in different languages. Is it up to myself to say, right, I want to learn this? Where else can I look to get the resource from?
Yeah.
But it just shows you that the wealth of knowledge is out there to learn. But then, how do you take all that knowledge on board and then say, how can
Mm.
I live in the same city? Because I don't really want to live in London or Sharjah,
Mm.
but how can I help grow my own city? And
I
this
see.
again comes down to what you've mentioned is universities and local government working together. Local government will have a lot of data, will have a lot of opportunities, a lot of enterprises within that city. How do we grow them jobs by you looking at universities and saying, right, we
Mm.
can foster that? Can we bridge the gap? Can we keep the talented people working with the local enterprise and authority to say, can we do something with your data? Can we develop stuff? Can we
Mm.
develop new products? So that's
All
that's
right.
what we would be looking at. And these is sort of strategies that I believe that you know that the local government and universities should be thinking. Well,
Yeah,
I'm sure they are.
they are already. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So again, in relation to the topic that we have, guys, if you have any questions relating to the slides we just discussed, please drop your questions and suggestions for the possible future topics that we will cover. So again, this is an engaging fireside chat. So feel free to ask your questions in real time. All right, so we're gonna go to the next slide now. So, what are your thoughts in integrating AI into the local tech ecosystems? Like we have been doing events with, let's say, the AFC, SRJP. Also in Tashkent, there's this IT park, right? Uzbekistan IT park. So, what are your thoughts in integrating AI into the local tech ecosystem?
Right. Again, so let's look at this way, Mark.
Mm,
Every region that we've worked in, be it UK,
mm,
be it Sharjah, be it Uzbekistan, and such,
mm,
the data that resides there is obviously sensitive to some, to a lot
mm,
of the degree. And when you're working with a lot of data, you want to make sure you've got that data sovereignty, and a
mm,
country by country, they're keeping hold of your own data is important. Now, when we've had the opportunity to work in Uzbekistan
mm,
as outsiders from UK, we've never been privy to that data as such. So
mm,
this is where we've worked with a local talent and said, right, let's find young local talent that wants to work for AHB. Now, having that data, working with a local person who's the only person that can really work on that data, not ourselves, because that data didn't obviously belong to ourselves. We're just custodians of it, and that someone like the local employee that works with us, he can develop that product. Okay, but again,
yeah.
it comes down to keeping that data sovereignty, keeping the local talent working on that data and developing products that are suitable for that uh, particular region. Like
Mm,
one of the examples is the MOJ that we have at the moment with Uzbekistan, where we're building, or our developers out in Uzbekistan are building a specific chatbot trained on uh, many questions from the Ministry of Justice. So
yeah.
they're the sort of examples where can we take can we take ideas from Sharjah, UK, and take them to somewhere like Uzbekistan, and vice versa? Can we take ideas that will what we developed from Uzbekistan, incorporate it in somewhere like Sharjah, but
Mm,
trained on the data locally, but then develop local talent to work in this region, and hence keeping that wealth within that sovereign border as such. And
mm,
that is where I see the next step forward for keeping, building cities or countries or cities or towns, or talent pool of great tech people, rather than having that slow drain of people saying I want to work in Sharjah or I want to work in Dubai, and
mm,
then leaving their cities. I mean, look, I come from Coventry, which was traditionally a manufacturing city. Now,
yeah.
manufacturing motor vehicles at one stage, I think we made almost 27 different types of cars. That industry has slowly gone. But what? How do we fill that void in? Do we bring in more manufacturing? And there has been more manufacturing, or can we build this new wave of high tech jobs? And that's where we should be looking.
All right, all right. So actually, there's this thing that not that thing, but I think there's this upcoming announcement by Bikal and AHB on Jitex, this Jitex, right? About a product launch. But basically, the idea was there's this product um, or idea, really good idea, but I think it still, half part of that needs to be mentoring also, right? Like there
Yeah,
should be
yeah.
proper, really thorough mentoring because an idea is just an idea without that push.
No, it's true. I mean, I can only take a little bit of my life experiences. I'm not a
Mm,
fantastically technical person, you know,
mm,
but can I give somebody some sort of a guidance in a particular way? Yes, I can.
mm,
Can I pass my experiences on? Yes, I can. And I think that we've got a team of very experienced people who have worked in different fields. And to be
Mm.
able to take an idea from a student and say, right, you want to make a startup, and this is one of our roles, is basically mentoring students, which we do in obviously in a little bit in UK. We've worked
Mm.
with some students in that worked as interns for us in Coventry University. We've had interns from Uzbekistan, India, and even Dubai and Sharjah. So
Yeah.
these are all young people or great kids with great ideas, right? But how can you take them to the next level? We can only give
Yeah.
experience. I mean, I can give experiences of this, maybe do this way, or
Mm.
perhaps you haven't quite thought about this. Having that, I look at myself and I think to myself, 35 years ago, I mean, I was at university and I was in London at the time. We never
Mm.
really had this mentoring. We never really had people from the outside or from
Yeah.
industry coming in and teaching. It was study, 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 and then get a job. Yeah, as opposed to now, you can study and then have some real life kind of people come from the outside and say, right, you've got an idea or you want to run your own business. This is the way I
Mm.
would do it. You may not do it like this, but I can show you a certain way. And
Mm.
that's one of our cornerstones of what we do at AHB. We're able to take
Yeah.
interns and give them a chance to say, right, that's a good idea. How would you develop it further? How can we scale it? Do you want to scale it? So it really depends on individuals and how they
Mm.
want to be perceived, and how also we can work with industry like ourselves that are, using high performance compute. Can we help in any way?
Yeah. Exactly. Because there's so much tech ecosystems already, but the thing is, those young minds, maybe there's a lack of connectivity between the mentor part and the, you know, maybe there's but yeah,
A lot
we'll
of
check.
time, look, you know, I you know, being a you could be you could be a successful
Mm.
business person or really done well for yourself, but you may not be able to translate that knowledge across. It's the same as scenario you might
Mm.
have in sports. You might have had a great sportsman, doesn't mean
Mm.
you're going to be a great coach or a great
Yeah.
mentor. Yeah. So I mean, my love of boxing came, and I was a no great champion or great fighter or anything, but I've got a knack of teaching it in a particular way that
Mm.
responds to young people, and
Yeah.
I've produced some great young amateur fighters. Okay, so it's not
Yeah.
always about it. It's not being being the most successful, or it's
Yeah.
just you have to have a little spark of enthusiasm, or there's a certain way
Mm.
of engagement, and then that can work. You don't have to always be brilliant at one thing and think that
Yeah.
you can pass that on. So it really depends on the individual and how you come across.
Yeah. The ability
Yeah,
to connect, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's that ability to
So,
connect, and that's very difficult to push
yeah.
across.
All right. So next slide. All right. So universities and educating local talent, like you mentioned earlier. So
Mm.
yeah, your thoughts about the items here.
Well, no, it's like you said, Mark. I mean, this runs down to, again, do we have frameworks within schools now that are looking
Mm.
for the future jobs? And I know, what life's like going to be for an 11-year-old in 10 years'
Mm.
time. When I go to places like Dubai, I look at and the way they're looking at to bringing their younger people on. I mean, we're in a place called Sharjah Research Technology Innovation Park, real fancy, big title name. And in there,
Yeah.
we've got two organizations that deal with young people. One's Shira, which deals with bringing on young entrepreneurs, and a one called
Mm.
RQ STEM, I think it is, where they look at
Yeah.
younger kids. Can they introduce young kids at the age of 10, 11 into robotics? You know, robotics and the next wave of technologies to gain their kind of enthusiasm into that kind of region. Now,
Mm.
similarly, we have schools in the UK where traditionally kids will go to school, they've got to pass a
Mm.
certain grade, and then they've got to go to another grade, then they go to university, and it's always, you know, passing each stage at a time. And I'm a big believer that not all kids are going to be academics, but can we bring programs in that find what they really like to do. If you have an interest in robotics at 11,
Mm.
can we bring these clubs and make connections and collaboration with schools where we can say, right, for an hour a week we'll teach a bit of AI and robotics at a really
Mm.
easy level, and if you've got kids that are interested, let's bring them along, do a build that passion for it, and
Mm.
then hopefully when they go a little older, they might want to find a career in it. But
Yeah.
this all comes down to, what do you think the world is going to look like in another 10 years time? Technology is
Yeah.
moving really quick. uh,
Exactly.
Smartphones and whatever. I mean, I still don't even look at some of the phones that I've got, and I can't get my head around what's possible from them, and what's it going to
Yeah.
be like in another 10 years. So, I mean, I tend to find younger people really great with their phones, and they adapt real quick. So, can we bring that knowledge of looking at what kids do, bring it into educational programs, and then say, right, can
Mm.
we really build this new wave of next 10 years worth of jobs that may not even be created yet, but at
Mm.
least get young people ready for it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that goes again, has to go with the vision. And the vision of the
Yeah.
city, it's got to be the vision of the university. They want more students in. Local authorities and schools, and they want to be the best, and we want to keep that talent local. Right? Can we build internship programs? Can we make more collaboration with enterprises, that where they will
Mm.
take their kids and say, right, you're going to do X amount of stint at this university, I mean, or this enterprise, and learn so much. Come back. Do you have any ideas? Have you got ideas that you want to try to build your own startup? So that's the way we've got to be thinking, because otherwise all we're
Mm.
going to do is, yeah, we're going to get kids go university, they'll see a fantastic job over in abroad
The
or in
US. Yeah.
London, and they'll just slowly leak away. And it's the same argument where I had with, I mean, you look at some of your guys, I mean, you're from the Philippines,
Mm.
a lot of your talented guys, well, they might go to Malaysia, or they'll go to Singapore, or one of the big super
Yeah.
tech places out in the southeast. So that drain is really, it's frightening, because then
Yeah.
what are you left with within the city? Yeah.
Actually, in relation to that, Jess, actually, you are very right. Like, in terms of the, let's say, AI trend, or the growth of the interest, or the, let's say, the number of talents that we have there are pretty much the same last year, because everyone who's really good kept, going to abroad to work, for
No,
work.
no,
So, yeah.
no. I
So
mean,
that's why.
look, we in the. I've always
Mm.
thought this, because we have this thing in the UK where we say we
Mm.
don't have enough data scientists, or that there's a skills gap, or there's hence why we have to bring people in from different parts of the world and cities and such, and not look at. Is there a skills gap, or is it a opportunities
Mm.
gap? I mean, we have a
I
lot
see.
of we have a lot of kids at university
Mm.
that are doing AI stroke MSCs and such,
Mm.
and doing them courses, right? But where
Yeah.
is the opportunity within the city? Yeah.
Yeah.
So somewhere like Coventry does a great MSc in AI and machine learning, but
Mm.
where is the opportunity within the city for that role?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have no opportunity, but they have no opportunity, so they will go back to where that job is. So
Yeah.
that's the flip side. So
Mm.
universities I know are running courses. Okay, the skill set's there, but have we got the
The
enterprise there,
opportunity.
the
Yeah.
opportunity? So that's the flip side of where we've got to think as well. So there's two sides to it, but I think there's got to be, like you said, a bit more strategic thinking. Universities talking to the local authorities talking to schools and saying, right, this is the courses that are available. This is the sort of
Mm.
jobs we want to build. These are the innovation labs we want to build.
Yeah.
Let's run courses for kids. Is there private individual companies that want to join us that are doing manufacturing? Can we build in? Can you take kids on? I don't know, 2 hours a week or something. Show them basic
Yeah.
manufacturing robotics. build that interest and that passion for it, because it's the
Yeah.
passion that will take you further.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually agree. Yeah. So
Yeah.
before we move to the next slide, guys, let me remind you, if you haven't followed us yet in our socials, we have LinkedIn, we have Facebook, we have YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. You can just search Bikal Tech UK. All right. And then if you have any suggestions in the next topics that you want us to cover, please leave them in the comment section, or also you can just leave them in the channels as well. All right, so going to the next slide now. So basically, actually, we are in the last part of our slide. Basically, Q&A. If you have any questions, guys, that you want to ask Mr. Jas here, please drop them in the comment section. And if you have any, let's say, if you are a developer and you want to ask about what's the next step that I should take, because I want to, let's say, I want to develop an AI idea that I have right now. You can ask, or you can send your questions to Mr. Jazz here. I'm gonna leave the email and the social channel that he has in the comment section. And also, if you are, let's say, if you happen to be in Coventry,
Yeah,
um,
connect with me.
yeah, yeah,
Come and see us, and let's see. You know,
you can always
it's like you
connect with
said, Mark. You know, this is open forum, and we want questions. We want people. I mean,
mm,
you know, the better ideas are always going to come. The more we collaborate, the more innovation. So it's only a spin
yeah,
off of the collaboration that we do. Innovation. They probably use that word so much these days, but what
yeah,
is really being innovated? So it's really a collection of people all coming together, and then the ideas come from there. So the more questions are asked, I don't know all the answers. I can only give you
yeah,
guidelines and then help you out in a certain way. But we as a company from AHB or Bikal would
mm,
we will help. Any student that has an idea, you know,
yeah,
any student that has an idea, can we help them develop it? Anyone that's
yep,
got, I've got developing skill, I need some help on this. Can you help me?
mm,
Yeah, we'll do it. That's the sort of engagement that companies need to have
yeah,
with universities, with local people, even on webinars like this. Come on, talk to us, and then maybe we can help you, maybe we can't, but we will try. And
yep.
that's what we need, is that little bit more openness and talking together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's very true, Jess, because um, people are joining in or attending our webinars, and yet they're not really dropping any questions. Or even, let's say, we met people or students from the universities in the, let's say, in some events, right? But I think they just need a little bit of courage asking questions.
Look,
It doesn't have to be the right question. They need to start asking questions.
look. The way I see it, look, I ask stupid questions all the time. You know, it doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter. If I don't know what is it that I want, I don't know the answer. I'll ask it. It doesn't matter how stupid it is, because to me, if I don't, I'd rather learn it and look stupid. I don't care. You know. So
Yeah.
in that respect, people have got to. Like I said, there's always going to be far cleverer people than I'll ever be, and I'm not that
Mm.
clever. You know. So
All right.
no, but definitely, if there's questions, if people want to contact us, feel free to. If you've got ideas, and you want to do
Mm.
something, why not? We're here to help. Okay.
All right. Yep. All right. I think that's it for today's episode, and
Thank
I'd
you.
like to thank you, Jazz, for
No problem.
being here, or being my, let's say, for explaining
No,
thoroughly
thank
about
you
this.
very much,
Yeah.
Mark.
All right, guys. Again, if you haven't followed us, we are in LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You may also visit our website. It's bikal.co.uk. It's bikal.co.uk. You may also Google just Bikal UK. And then if you have any questions, suggestions, and let's say if you want to do some collaborations, then you can just send us an email, or, like I said, message us in our social channels. All right. Thank you, Jazz, and
Thank you, Mark. Thank you,
all right,
everybody.
all right. Thank you, guys. See you in the next episode.